Remember to get easy access to this show and other shows produced over the past 3 years by Pro Cannabis Media by downloading our free app, PCM TV. You can find it on the App Store or on Google Play. When we come back, a tribute to one of the original members of our news team, the late Rick Thompson from Michigan, who passed away a year ago this week. He was a leader of the advocacy movement in Michigan and the former executive director of NORML in that state. Cannabis Coast to Coast News continues after this.
The people who stand up for their community will show up. We need the rest of you to show up as well. Be the change. Say it with me. Be the change. Be the change. Be the change.
Welcome back to the B Block of Cannabis Coast to Coast News. I'm PCM founder Jimmy Young, filling in for Elena Pinto, who is off this week. But I promise, again, she'll be back in the anchor seat next week. When we first started to produce a weekly news show here at Pro Cannabis Media during the pandemic, Michigan's Rick Thompson joined the Green Market Report's Deborah Borchardt and Phil Adams out of Washington, D.C. as regular contributors to the program. In 2021, we had to figure out if a regular news show on a niche industry would be able to get a following and survive. 3 years later, we've had over 1.2 million views of our work on our YouTube channel alone, with more than half generated by our news content. A year ago, we lost Rick Thompson, but his influence in Michigan remains, and one of the founders of the Michigan Weedsters, our own Amie Carter, continues his legacy.
I'm Amie Carter from Michigan Weedsters with the Michigan Cannabis Report for Cannabis Coast to Coast News. State officials are investigating allegations of improper record keeping, failure to maintain surveillance footage, and mishandling of cannabis products at the exclusive brands facility in Ann Arbor. According to a complaint, more than 10 pounds of marijuana products were unaccounted for at their business. In Ypsilanti, developers plan to open a 4,300 square foot cannabis lounge and outdoor amphitheater on a 6-acre lot. Visitors will be able to purchase marijuana at an adjacent dispensary, consume it indoors, and enjoy live performances. Michiganders living in 2 Oakland County neighborhoods, Royal Oak Township and Lathrop Village, will reportedly have a chance to vote on ballot measures this November to decide whether or not cannabis businesses will be allowed to operate in their communities. Make sure to cast your vote. This week marks the anniversary of the passing of former Michigan news correspondent Rick Thompson. Rick was a remarkable individual, a great friend, leader, and activist whose love, compassion, and dedication to the cannabis community were unparalleled. Let's honor Rick by remembering what he stood for.
Right, here's my medical marijuana card. Right on the bottom, it says authorized to possess plants. No. That means I'm a patient who's dependent upon a caregiver. This bill directly affects me. And I have to tell you, I've been doing this since 2010, coming to testify. This is a shocking level of lack of knowledge on the part of the lawmakers in regards to caregivers, patients, and the medical system itself. There's no way you are all in an educated state where you can be making decisions about what should and should not be made as changes here in the marijuana industry based on the questions that we've had today. There are 30,000 caregivers registered in the state of Michigan. Those 30,000 caregivers service 72,000 patients. Now, if we pass this bill and 30,000 caregivers are only allowed to service one patient, that means 42,000 Michigan voters are going to be booted from their caregiver supply of cannabis immediately.
Through his impactful activism, he played a pivotal role in advancing cannabis freedom in our state, even being recognized by the state of Michigan and the governor by receiving a proclamation. The Michigan cannabis community fondly remembered Thompson, commemorating the anniversary of his passing. He believed in community and throughout the years brought so many of us together. Rick Thompson will not be forgotten, and his words and beliefs will be honored. We will continue to protect the freedoms he helped pave the way for. That will do it for this week's news. I'm Amie, reporting for Cannabis Coast to Coast.
And congratulations go out to Amie Carter from Michigan for being named one of the Advocates of the Year in Michigan at this past weekend's NECANN trade show in Grand Rapids. Amie has been advocating for her son Jaden, who is challenged by autism, and she has to take him out of high school every day in order to give him his prescribed medicine. She is fighting to get Jaden's law passed that would allow school nurse practitioners to administer medicine during the school day to students who need it just to get through their day.
We are Pro Cannabis Media.